The soil, a miraculous treasure trove. Most people think that the soil is part of the Earth's crust, just a few centimeters thick, largely used in agriculture. Looked at more closely, however, soil has a very complex structure indeed. A wide variety of physical, chemical, and biological activities take place in this layer, which ranges from 20 to 30 centimeters to a few meters at most in thickness. The formation of the soil is a miracle all by itself. One of the most complex and interesting things about soil is that it forms by itself. This begins with the physical breakdown of rocks into smaller fragments. But that is not enough for soil to form. Among other factors, climate has a direct and indirect importance, because it is climate which determines breakdown, dissolution, plant cover, and micro and other organism activities. Later on, under the effects of water, chemical breakdown takes place and the minerals inside the rock emerges. But these minerals are not soil in the true sense of the word. This material, that we can refer to as broken down rock, is inanimate. To put it another way, it is dead. Algae and grasses begin growing on this inorganic material that contains various minerals. The roots of these plants accelerate the breakdown of the main substance, while falling leaves and branches initiate the activities of the microorganisms that break them down. As plants lose their leaves and branches, and these mix in with the soil and are broken down by microorganisms, the organic material of the soil comes into being. Various types of plant can now grow on it. This process, which has taken about a minute and a half to describe, actually happens over millions of years in nature. The miracle of the formation of soil, with its sensitive and detailed equilibrium, once again shows us the perfection of the creative artistry of Allah, the sublime Creator. Almighty Allah reveals this in another verse from the Quran. I take refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. A sign for them is the dead land which we bring to life, and from which we bring forth grain, of which they eat. Surah Yasin 33. Certainly, had Allah so wished, He could have created the soil at once, without going through all these transitional stages, in a form ready for agriculture. But our Lord creates everything with a specific chain of cause and effect in this world, a place of testing, and has created the soil in the same way. Almighty Allah clarifies this with an example in another verse. I take refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Do you not see how your Lord stretches out shadows? If He had wished, He could have made them stationary. Then we appoint the sun to be the pointer to them. Surat Al-Furqan 45. The soil plays host to many different species. There is a very closely designed and delicate relationship between the soil and life forms of various sizes. Plant, bush, and tree seeds, carried from elsewhere by the wind, gradually mix in with the soil and allow plant species to diversify. But this growth of plant life does not happen by chance. Every stage takes place under the supervision of Almighty Allah, who reveals this in a verse of the Quran. I take refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. The keys of the unseen are in His possession. No one knows them but Him. He knows everything in the land and sea. No leaf falls without his knowing. There is no seed in the darkness of the earth, and nothing moist or dry which is not in a clear book. Surat al-An'am 59.